Hey, what's up and good morning everybody. Thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton. I'm going to cover the Pro back 9 holes walkthrough for the Game Set Match tournament. So as you can see here, we have a minus 31 on this account. That's a minus 17 back 9. This account we sit with a minus 31, which is a minus 16 back 9. And hole 17, as you can notice here, picked up a very lucky hole-in-one on a par 4. That's my first hole-in-one on a par 4 ever in a final round of a tournament. So that was pretty exciting to pick up. A couple things, it took me 41 practice tokens to get here. You're going to see some weird shots in this round, and it took a lot of creativity, especially burning through practice tokens to come up with some of these shots. So, I hope you become a subscriber. I hope I've earned it from you. I hope you take a moment there to hit the thumbs up button and like the video. And if you'd like to support my content, you can always become a member of the channel. That's in the description below. Or if you'd like to help me replenish some practice tokens and some balls that I went through so that you don't have to, I can always accept PayPal donations, which you find in the comments section below. And anything is much appreciated. It really is. All right. Let's go to hole number 1. Hole number 1, I started off using quite a few practice tokens, but I ultimately got pretty lucky because I didn't really get hit with any type of high wind. So I'm using a katana. Now, if you do get hit with higher wind, I would say anything like over 6. Anything over 6, I would just switch to a kingmaker and knock it down into the 5s, to be honest. The setup is really easy, okay? First thing we're going to do is, boom, add 3 bars of right side spin combined with just a little bit of top spin. Just barely any is what it takes to get to the hole. And then I put my white ring on the rough. I don't really pay attention to the plus yard mark here. What I pay attention to is the green squares. I play by the green squares. So right here, this is a really good one to find, and it's really easy. If you take a look at where the hole sits, the hole is sitting in a vertical, mostly light green row. We're playing one row to the left of that, okay? And the very end of my ball guideline is basically pointing directly in the corner pocket of the dark green square. So right there I zoom in. Hopefully you can see exactly what I'm talking about as far as aiming. But just remember, if you have your white ring on the rough like that, and if you already have applied your spins like I said, all you have to do is look one green vertical row square to the left of the pin and just play down here in the corner pocket of that one. And then you're ready to take your shot. Now, when you take your shot, we have to fight against the wind angle here by using a 1201 pull angle, and we have to fight against the way the ball rolls on the green. If you're not familiar with what a 1201 pull angle is, it's right here. Notice where it says 5.7 wind, and notice the wind arrow, okay, the orange or red wind arrow, whatever color it is. Notice that it's not blowing exactly north, okay? Right here, it's blowing north, right? But right here, it's blowing north to north right. If you were reading a clock, that would read 12:01. If you're reading a clock here, you would say it's noon, right? So what we want to do is we want to pull our rings when the wind is flickering like that. Okay, again, that just helps fight against different wind angles. It helps fight against the way balls roll on a green. But here it is what it takes to get this ball to go into the hole. This was very consistent for a hole-in-one. The only reason I didn't pick it up on my other account is because I hit a great shot. And, that's really frustrating when you burn a ton of practice tokens and you hit a great ball when it counts. But at least I picked up a perfect ball on this account, and there you are for hole number 1. Okay, hole number 2, it also took me quite a bit to figure out what to do. I'll tell you this right now, is most people, unless you have saved your Bubba Watson balls, you may not be able to play this shot, okay? So I apologize about that in advance. I saved my Bubba balls. They were free to play ball. You could have picked them up in, golden shots a while ago. But we do need the wind resistance 3. We do need the power 5 here in order to make it. If you're not able to make it, maybe because you have lesser clubs or you don't have this ball, then you more than likely have to play the shot to the left-hand side and take your chances at a thorn shot to pin, which I practiced. I didn't like it because it's like a crosswind shot to pin. It's not the easiest one to pick up without using the slider. But the only thing I'm going to show you here is just how to play the aggressive path. It is the final round, so sometimes, I just have to play aggressive, especially if I'm in contention to win. But anybody using money balls, if you got a win 3, power 5 ball, this is a great shot. As you can see here, I'm almost full OP, not quite. Full OP, or almost full OP, about half a ball to curl to the left, and we are able to stick this thing onto the green. Now, we have plenty of room here because you can see how far we roll out of the rough. I did see an opponent, okay? I did see one opponent using APOC 5 and a money ball. I also saw an opponent using extra mile 8 and a money ball in practice, and both money balls were win or power 5 win 3 balls, and I think one was a win 4 ball as well. I think somebody used like a megalodon and an extra mile 8, and they made it. So it is there, but it's not going to be there for everybody. That's going to take us to hole number 3. Hole number 3, we're getting tailwind, so we don't really need to even think about using a kingmaker here unless you really want wind reduction. I like to tighten as well because it's going to cap me at 2 bars of right side spin, and we don't have to worry about rolling into the rough there on the right-hand side. We're just going to play this one right down the fairway. As you can see, I'm not using any overpower. No reason to gamble here on this shot because shot number 2 is going to be a nice shot to pin for a good look at an albatross. So here, we just hit this thing right down the fairway. Comes in really nicely. Brings us to shot number 2. Shot number 2, you can see we're getting favors with tailwind. That's why we don't have to push the drive. We are going to play this one 30% at max. If you're somebody who uses slider, then of course you can always take a look at the plus yard marks. But this one's going to be really close. You can kind of see exactly where I'm aiming here. I'm aiming short of the pin just because we have a secondary wind push with tailwind. If we aim short, theoretically, the way the game works is the tailwind should push us really close to the hole. We hit a perfect ball here. So we're missing someone by about half a green square to the right. You'll just have to make small little tweaks on this hole. You could use a little bit of left side spin to counter the wind. That's where I would start. I didn't use any practice tokens on hole number 3, as I just think, sometimes the bounce off that fairway towards a pin is a little bit random, so it was not worth a practice token for me. Maybe it will be for you, but I think just seeing one shot from me right there on how this thing kicked off the fairway towards the pin, a little bit of left side spin to counter that wind, and you should be okay. Really, really close. I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can play hole number 4. This is not the best way, okay? There's no reason to waste a berserker here, as it really didn't do me any favors. Maybe it's just because I didn't hit a great drive. But ultimately, I'm going full top, 2 left, 10%, and then pushing back to max. Full OP, half a ball of curl. I hit a pretty nasty, great shot to the right. So I don't really get, that awesome fairway to fairway. I have to roll through the rough and out. That's really no problem. It's an easy birdie to pick up. I just went with a heavy backspin shot with the thorn. And really, I just tried to back up my ball guideline to the hole like that. As you can see, I pulled it 10% at max. It's just not worth a berserker, in my opinion, to go this way. It's a lot better to go to the left, which is how I played this account right here. So, tighten ball is all we need because we are getting a little bit of a tailwind push. No reason to use the kingmaker to reduce that wind. So here I'm going with as much top spin as I have, combined with 2 bars of left side spin. And I'm pushing up to max to see how much room I have and how much overpower I need to get the most distance possible on this drive. I was really focused on this final round, and I really felt like I was playing well and was pretty dialed in. Because you can see here, I even used basically the exact amount of OP on the drive that I was supposed to. And I caught all of the fairway, like exactly what I was visualizing in my head happened. I rolled out to the very top, and that's going to leave us for a good-looking shot for shot number 2. Shot number 2, I played at 25% at mid with my Grizzly. You know, this is more between minimum and mid, but I just played it straight up at mid to see what would happen. You just have to kind of just set your spin. So, you know, I set my spin a couple different times. Ultimately, this is what I land on. No side spin, heavy back spin, ball guideline, middle of the cup. Perfect ball here. And we just missed to the right-hand side. So you might want to offset that one pretty heavily or use some side spin. I think that's going to be a difficult one to drop, though. But it is a safe one to play. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to play hole number 5. Hole number 5, this is going to be a safe way. This is my opponent's shot. I played it very aggressively on both of my accounts. So if you're looking for a safe way to play, you can probably play this shot right here, 10 or 15% at max. Notice the top spin on the rock. This guy's going with full top, full right. He's putting his blue ring right here on the rough line, and that's what the rest of the ball guideline looks like. Nothing touching the rough, everything pointing down the fairway there. Here he pushes his rings. He uses a little bit of OP, a little bit of curl to the right, and he comes in very safely onto the fairway. This is going to be his shot number 2. Shot number 2 is played pretty much like you know it's going to be. It's going to be heavy curl. It's going to be a little bit of, it's going to be 3 bars of right side spin and a little bit of top spin just to make sure that your ball guideline is over the sand bunker. Here he goes, very heavy curl, perfect ball, and he comes in really nicely, almost sinks it for an albatross. Now for me, final round, so you know we're going to try to play that funnel shot because that funnel shot is sweet. I'm using a Kingmaker. Now I've got an extra mile 9, and you can see I went with full top and full right. Well, it looks like we change it up here. No, this is me testing to see if you guys can do it with 6 top, but you can't unless you went with heavy overpower. But I don't recommend that on this drive and this wind. So for me, I went very heavy top spin, very heavy right side spin. Now the thing about it is again, if you're a money ball player, you could always find yourself a power 4 ball with 2 or 3 bars of side spin. And you can make this shot as well because we want to go here. We want to clip that rough and we want to roll out just like that. That's very important. If you're able to execute this drive, you're going to have a massive advantage in the final round because you get to play the funnel shot to whereas most players won't have the opportunity to play this in headwind. This is not a shot that we ever really go for in headwind. But again, because I was in contention to possibly win the tournament, I had to go pretty aggressive here. So 4 back and 2 left. That's how we've been playing it almost the entire time. And what we want to do is move our target around until we find the funnel. Right here, you can see that I'm aiming all the way down through the pin. I push my rings, minus 40% at absolute minimum distance of the sniper is how I've been playing it all tournament. And with perfect balls, I mean, it's basically been going in the cup almost every single time. So you see here, we come up, and then we catch this, and then we roll down. Again, very, very aggressive route. Oh, this one we miss. Wow, what am I talking about? I'm tripping. Okay. So, wow, I showed the replay where we miss. I do have a make on this hole. Wow. I do have a make on this hole. Let's talk about... Oh, no, I don't. I made it in practice, but I didn't make it in the real deal. That's what happened. Okay. What we did here is... Yeah, I made it in practice. That's right. Okay, so here I'm aiming through the cup. What we want to do on the shot that I made, and I have no idea why this isn't the replay that I made. I obviously just selected and edited the wrong one without watching the whole thing. But we want to aim pin high. We need to move this over just a fraction to the right so that the ball guideline is coming in at the top of the hole. Because when it comes in at the top of the hole, then we don't miss at the bottom of the hole like that. So, man, I apologize about being disorganized there. But, well, either way, you can see the shot and know what you need to do to make it. All right. Hole number 6, this one, man, I could not figure this one out. Let's go back and take a look at how I played it. I played at 15% elevation, and I played it at, let's take a look. Maximum distance, or minimum distance, I'm sorry. 15% at absolute minimum, that's right, because we're able to find the minimum distance line here. The hardest thing about this hole is figuring out how much backspin to do. This is a very, very safe birdie. It's going to be very close to a hole-in-one. I did not pick up the hole-in-one on either account. This one you'll have to kind of take notes. 5.2 mile per hour. I'm using 4.2 backspin with 3 right. And again, I just found minimum distance line with a quarterback. You can see here, I guess the reference point is my white ring is over here touching the rough line, kind of like where the rough, I don't know, like is all weird looking. But right there, you can see I'm playing the white ring on the rough line. And then, like I said, this is going to be 4.8 rings, or I believe, because I played 15% at minimum distance. Perfect ball. And we're going to come up short. So we need a less top spin. So this one, your backspin is gonna vary depending on your wind strength, but that's gonna get you really close to the pin. That one's gonna be a hard hole-in-one to pick up. And we're gonna go into hole number 8 on the back 9, hole number 7 on the back 9. And this is full honesty, I got very, very lucky here. I used absolutely no practice tokens on this hole just because I have not been able to pick up a hole-in-one on it the entire tournament on rookie or pro. And then, of course, today, look what happens. Well, late last night, I should say. I was up late last night. I couldn't sleep. So, but full right side spin with a Kingmaker this time. I decided, you know what, final round, I'm going to use a Kingmaker. I've been using a Katana all tournament. And what I did with the top spin is I went way back here on my target, okay, as you can see. And I know that on this hole, we have to ride the rough line as close as possible without clipping the rough. So look at my ball guideline. Look how close it is between the fairway and rough. It's almost even touching at the top there before it starts to curve back down towards the green. To me, this is a very dangerous way to play the shot. But again, I just knew that I had to be dangerous in order to even think about trying to win this tournament. And I had to have a hole-in-one here. I did not expect to get it, but I did get it. So we've been close. That was the first thing I was thinking about. And then the second thing I was thinking about was how much curl and overpower to use. I was very nervous on the overpower because I didn't want to go into the rough. Now, I hit a great ball to the right, which is why I say I got very lucky. I hit a great ball on both of my accounts, and this ball went into the hole. So that one was dead center. My other account was pin high, so that means it was not consistent. But I don't know. Very, very, very lucky to pick this up. But, you know, I will take it. I just pulled that one for one as well. I didn't play any elevation. I just played it 1 for 1 and just kind of hoped that something lucky would happen, and it did. This is going to take me to hole number 8, okay? Hole number 8, I'm going to walk you through 2 different ways to play it. This hole number 8 took a lot of my practice tokens because it's so important to pick up the eagle on. Here I'm playing with the big topper shot and the navigator, just like we did on the front 9. Now, for whatever reason, you'll see here I'm playing 25% at maximum distance. So we're going to pull this 4.5 rings. For whatever reason, I could not hit perfect. I don't know what my problem was, but I'm going to show you 2 different ways to play it. Full top spin. And all we're trying to do here is just play the bounce over shot. You'll see that I move this here. That's very safe, okay? Look at that. Fully developed ball guideline. on one bounce and then two bounce towards the green. I could not hit a perfect shot in 3 practice attempts. Look at this. Great shot every single time to the left. Now, here's what ultimately happened whenever we did this, though. 1, 2, and then we roll through the sand and onto the fairway. All 3 of, well, 2 of my practice shots did that, and then I figured, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go to the real deal and play that shot. And I hit a great ball again, and I rolled out of the sand just like that onto the fairway. But if you remember my scorecards, I somehow was able to save both shots from back here. With the Endbringer, I just played it full topspin. I played it 20% at mid-distance, and this ball goes into the hole. I would imagine with a perfect ball, you're going to bounce and you're going to roll much more towards the green like we did on the front 9. But at this point, I just got into my own head, and I was like, you know what? I'm not playing that shot anymore. So when I hopped over to the Big Daddy account, I played a couple practice shots, and I'll just kind of give you an idea of what I was thinking about. So with this tailwind here, I was thinking, can I just go for green? Can I just take a berserker, and if I go with overpower and backspin, can I just clear the whole rough area? Like, how far will the tailwind actually bring me? So I'm going to walk you through this, and I just hope it makes sense. So here you can see I've applied no spin yet. And what I'm doing here is I'm stretching my club out to try to get into the center of the fairway just like that. Like, that's what I'm looking for. You can use reference points if you want, you know, like what color rings are in the sand or whatever. But for me, I was just looking, can I get my ball guideline to basically be pointing at the middle of the fairway? This is 7.1 mile per hour wind. This is the exact same wind that I got hit with in practice. So in practice, I made it to the green, and I almost got a hole-in-one, and I missed it by about 1/4 of a green square to the right. So what I did this time is, and in practice mode, I did exactly 1 bar of backspin. So I missed it by 1/4 of a green square to the right, and I went a little bit past the hole. So I had a good idea of what I wanted to do. So I went with like 1.2 bars of backspin here, I guess, and just a sliver amount of left curl. You see that? Maybe 0.2 left curl. From here, I make my ring pull. I pulled it 15% at max, and I went with an overpowered shot. I hit a perfect ball. And I can't believe this ball went into the cup for a hole-in-one. I find that very lucky because I got the exact same wind in practice mode. So I just had an idea to use more backspin and a little bit of left curl. And that ball went exactly where I was hoping it would. That's very difficult to duplicate. I would imagine use a berserker. We're going to hit with all different types of crazy winds. But I would keep the little left side spin there. And, you know, if you get higher wind, use more backspin. If you get a little bit lower wind, only use 1 bar of backspin. But I think 1 bar of backspin is the absolute minimum to use. Now, again, keep in mind that that came from just 1 practice shot. I was just trying to think, can I make it to the green with a full overpower shot? And I did. So I would consider that a dangerous shot unless you're willing to take a berserker to practice mode and spend 1 or 2 tokens. But you'd really have to kind of look exactly where I was aiming and try to duplicate that. And that takes us to hole number 9. I'm sorry that I'm spending so much time on this video. It's the final round. I just have a lot of shots to explain, and I really hope this is helping. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up. And again, if you would like to support all my time and efforts, you can most certainly do so. PayPal link in the comment section below. You can throw me a little tip like you would your favorite waiter, waitress, or bartender, or even become a member to the channel. That would be sweet too in the video description. Here we're using half a ball of curl to the right. This one we're not playing really any different than what we have all tournament long. About 5 bars of top spin, 3 bars of right side spin. You can use 6 bars of top spin. You can use 4.5 bars of top spin. Doesn't matter. It's just whatever your extra mile is able to do. Because no matter what, we're going to be playing shot number 2 like this. We're going to go with full right side spin. The reason we're doing that is because we're getting a very strong push from right to left. So we're just going to go max side spin to the right. Here, you'll notice, let's take a look at the top spin. The top spin will vary depending on how far you get on your drive. For me, we'll call that, 0.7 bars of top, 3 right. Again, I'm a green square player, so I had known how I missed on my other account, and I was just trying to aim at the corner of that dark green square right there. As you can see, this one's really harder to break down for people just because you can't get in as close as you would like during live play. And as you can see here, the shot clock's already going down. But I knew where I was trying to aim just because I missed it on my other account, by a fraction to the left. And sometimes it just works out when you use the green squares as a reference point. And this ball goes into the center of the cup for an albatross. Hey, everybody, that's it. Let me know how you do in the comments below. Thanks for being patient, and have a great, blessed Sunday.